Chargers are only one game behind them for the division lead, but overall, the Chiefs kind of just handled business. Brandon Staley, I don't trust him. I don't trust the Chargers yet. They haven't made the playoffs before. It'd be their first time appearance versus the Chiefs, who have been there many times before. So it's just like, nope, I don't
Eh,
trust the Chargers in this game.
and playoff Patty.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not betting
no.
against playoff Patty. His numbers are ridiculous. And with the Chargers team with a bad head coach, I don't even know if I'm so sure that the Chargers are going to even make the playoffs, to be honest.
No, we're
With the
gonna
way
talk
that
about
they've
that.
played, which we'll go over that when we go over, the other teams that are in contention. But the Chiefs, if the playoffs ended today, they would take care of business against the Chargers.
Absolutely. And then we have the Ravens, which are currently the 3 seed. Um, I like the Ravens to win the division. I think the only thing that changes is that the Bengals fall into that wild card spot over the Chargers. But overall, I do think not even that. I think the Jets, who are in the playoffs right now, fall out. So I think the Ravens right now matched up against the Dolphins. That's just a matchup nightmare, and I think the Dolphins are one of them still an underlooked team. The Bengals start to get it going towards the second half of the season, and I think the Dolphins are almost doing that to a different effect where Tua got hurt and then came back, and the momentum's coming back. You're getting Bradley Chubb. So I think the Dolphins are gonna beat who on the road or in the first round if they get the 1 seed over the Bills if they can beat them one more time, I think.
Yeah.
They're gonna win the first round, and I think the Ravens are a good story, but you can only do so much with just Mark Andrews on offense.
Yeah, exactly. Mark and the Dolphins offense is way more dynamic. Their defense, I think their defenses are both pretty equal. So I think that this Dolphins team will be flying high.
Yeah, and like stupidity factor, like, oh, who's gonna make a mistake, Tua or Lamar? I think it's equal at
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah, and I might even lean more towards Lamar just
Yeah,
because
he's gonna have to
it's
do more.
yeah, he's gonna have to do more in just like a playoff setting. I mean, I think he got his playoff win, but that's still a reputation that he has, and I do think that it plays into his head a little bit.
Yeah, especially in a contract year where it's like, well, if you don't win the Super Bowl, do we know you're the guy? Which is asinine because obviously Lamar Jackson's the man, and the Ravens should pay him whatever money he asks for.
Yeah, should.
And then we have the Titans versus the Jets, and I think the Titans would lose that game, honestly. And I think you have Sauce Gardner in that game. You don't have any receivers for the Titans, and I think Robert Sala is savvy enough to be able to take down Derrick Henry. And I think the Jets can do just enough in that game to win. So if that's a matchup that happens, I think the Jets would win.
See, that's a game. First of all, I don't think this game's gonna happen.
No, I don't think it's gonna happen, and I think this is where you
If
see Miami and the Chargers move up and the Bengals.
if I had to pick who would win this game, though, I still pick the Titans because I think the Mike Vrabel can game plan around Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
So I don't think the Jets' offense is going to do much. So basically, they just need like one good drive from Tannehill and Derrick Henry to have a big run, and that would be enough for that game. Be a hideous game though. That's like a 16-14 game.
Yeah, that reminds me of like the do you remember when the Jaguars and Bills played, but what the Bills had Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
It'd be kind of similar to that game. But this is where we go to games, teams in the hunt, because we have the Patriots and the Bengals in the hunt right now, and
Everybody else is out of
they're
it.
5-4. Everyone else is pretty much out of it. So out of those teams, I would honestly pick the Jets to fall out. I do think the Chargers are going to be able to squeak into the playoffs by the skin of their teeth. I do think they're going to stay there at the 7th seed, but I think the Bengals are a team that is going to make the playoffs. The Jets are going to have a reality check, and I think the Dolphins are going to be 5. I think the Bengals are going to be 6, and then the Chargers are going to be 7. So that would leave us with Bengals Titans rematch. That would leave us with Dolphins at Titans, and then Bengals Ravens. And I think both the wild cards take care of business. And then I think the Chiefs would move on, which would leave us versus Kansas City versus Miami and Cincinnati versus Buffalo, which
Since
would be two iconic matchups. Like I hope that's if you're an NFL fan, you hope that's the matchup because you have the Tyreek Hill revenge game and okay, who's the second best quarterback in the NFL, Joe Burrow or Josh Allen? Let's see it. Go
That'd
at
be
it, because
spicy.
I really need to see Joe Burrow face Josh Allen, because that's the matchup where if Joe Burrow beats him, it's like, all right, well, you haven't lost to Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen in your career, and you beat them both in the playoffs. And if he pulls off that, then you have to put him in the best quarterback conversation.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to put it over Patty, but that's just because of the eye test. Like Patty Mahomes has shown it so many times.
Right.
I could see him going over Josh Allen for a number of reasons, but I think for my like playoff seeding, I actually think the Chiefs are going to take the 1 seed because the Bills they show that they're a little vulnerable against the Jets. I think the Chiefs can rattle off more wins. I think they have an easier schedule moving forward. So I actually think the Chiefs are going to be the ones that get the 1 seed.
Okay.
And then honestly, Bills and Chiefs, whoever gets the 2 seed, I don't even know. It's going to be an AFC East team, but it might not even be the Bills.
No.
Dolphins might still be in the hunt with that because it's really close. And if the Bills keep playing sloppy, it's going to be a chance where the Dolphins take over. And then AFC North, I think the Ravens are still going to take the division. Titans are a lock for the AFC South because everyone else is a dumpster fire. And then as far as the wild card teams, it'll be whoever doesn't win the AFC South, AFC East. So Bills or Dolphins. In this case, I'm going to go Dolphins. Dolphins are the wild card team. Bengals, I think, will sneak in there. Jets are going to get out of there. That's like the lock. And I don't know. I don't have faith in the Patriots, but I do think I kind of believe in them more than the Chargers
Right.
because Bill Belichick. Not that I think they'll make any noise in the playoffs, but the Chargers, their offense has not looked very good. Their coaching is bad, and the Patriots are kind of the opposite. Like their offense, I mean, they can kick a hell of a lot of field goals, I guess.
Yeah, Nick Folk, shout out to you.
Yeah, he's the MVP of the Patriots at this point, Ramondre Stevenson. I think the Patriots can coach their way into the playoffs in taking the Chargers out of the playoffs.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same way. Right now, what is your midseason Super Bowl pick?
Midseason Super Bowl pick. I like the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl, and I think that they're going to make it against the 49ers. I think it's going to be a rematch.
A rematch in the Super Bowl? I like that. Right now, I'm gonna go Philadelphia and Miami. I think Miami right now has shown that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, the combination's unguardable. When you have someone like Tunga Vailoa who does not make a ton of mistakes, Mike McDaniel's a new, fresh head coach. The best time to win the Super Bowl is in your first year as a head coach. I do believe that's a real thing. With the Bills, you've proven that you can beat them with an inferior defense than what you have now, adding Bradley Chubb. And I think that's going to be the difference maker in the playoffs. I think they win their division, and I think they have the firepower to compete with anyone in the league at this point. I love the addition of Jeff Wilson. Then what else? What more positive things can you say about the Philadelphia Eagles at this point? So it's like I have to go Philly and Miami at this point.